Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. You know, one of the things that really bugs me, because I bring tournaments here to this area, it bugs me that so often when we have people leaving the Meissner intake, a beautiful, beautiful launch area that some people say is one of the finest ones in the whole country, but they leave and they head down towards Clayton and Cape Vincent. Now, I have nothing against the Thousand Islands. I have nothing against Clayton and Cape Vincent, both beautiful shoreline towns. But these people think that if they go down there, the fishing's going to be better. And I've always wondered, because I fish around here, and I think it's some of the greatest fishing in my entire life. But with that said, one of the guys that had won some major tournaments came up to me, wanted to know more because he wants to come up and spend time in our area. But he said people tend to think it's better in Clayton. And I said to him, okay, tell me why. Maybe I'll learn something here that I didn't know before. And what he told me was fascinating. Now, if it's particularly true or not, or if it's us following other people's rhetoric, I don't know. But he said, as you get down into the broader water of the Thousand Islands, with that water broadening out, getting much more of it, the current isn't nearly as strong. And how does that affect the fishing? Well, these fish live in the current. And his take was, because the current isn't as strong there, the fish can get bigger with the food they eat. They're not constantly burning it off at the same rate that they do up here where the water is swifter. It also is easier for the fishermen to fish because no matter where you are, you have to contend with the current because that's where most fish live in the river. And because you have to contend with it, you have to learn how to fish and keep your lure, drop shots in particular, looking natural to the fish, so it doesn't look like it's being pulled against the current or away from the current. It has to look like something naturally floating down. And it's easier to do that if the current isn't as strong. He says that when he's fishing up here, he has to have his trolling motor on a certain speed just to be able to maintain it there in those current conditions. It's an interesting thought, because people have always thought that even going into Lake Ontario, the fish are going to get bigger because there's even less current in most cases that they're dealing with, and so they can grow bigger and fatter and provide a greater trophy to people trying to catch the elusive smallmouth bass. Maybe there's always going to be sense in all of this, because most of these stories, rumors, whatever, are coming from really die-hard and superior fishermen. Superior in the sense that they spend most of their life doing it and they get better at it than the novices. But it's an interesting point, and I'm always trying to learn, and I always try to keep my mind open. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.